Bad Movie Crew. Bad Movie Crew.
And we are back with another edition of the Bad Movie Crew. I am your host, Neil. I'm joined as always by my co-host and brother from another mother, Mark.
Hail.
And we are here with another edition of the Bad Movie Crew. Now, I know y'all haven't seen this in a while, but, life has happened. Life is getting away. But we here. We still here. We still doing the thing. We still, reviewing movies and talking the things. So let's get into it. Like the content. If you like what we're talking about, you can put it down. Like, comment, share, subscribe. Let us know what you think. And hit the notification bell so you don't miss anything. Anyhow, my brother, what are we reviewing today?
In the return of the illustrious Bad Movie Crew, or the infamous, however you want to call it. We don't care. We take any description here. We don't really care. It really don't matter. But we are reviewing the latest installment in the Predator series. No, you're not counting any Alien versus Predator, because that's just a whole nother thing. We are just we're strictly dealing with the Predator franchise, the Predator alone franchise. So this is the 5th entry in the Predator franchise, and it's called Prey.
So Prey was released August 5th, 2022, and it's directed by Dan Trachtenberg. Production companies 20th Century Studios, Davis Entertainment, Lawrence Gordon Production. It stars Amber Mid-Thunder, Dakota Beavers, Michelle Thrust, Stormy Kip, Julian Black, Antelope, and Dane DeLiegro. It's 100 minutes, Mark, so I know you like the length. Mark does not like long movies. So I know Mark definitely...
So slow.
You definitely like that.
Oh my God.
So as Mark said, Prey is the newest entry into the Predator lore, Aliens franchise, whatever you want to call it. And it is a prequel of sorts. Going back to 1719, I think it was, following Naru. She's a Comanche Indian in the Great Plains. And, obviously weapons are primitive and, they're going about their life as Native Americans and tribes of that time. And along comes a predator to do what predators do best, right? So before we get into Prey, just remember, spoiler alert, we're going to talk about this movie. So we may drop, we will be dropping some things that will spoil the movie for you. So if you do want to watch Prey and you don't want us to spoil it for you, pause here, put us in the favorites, give us a like, and come back. If you agree with our analysis or you think we're talking stupidness, let us know in the comment section. Now, Mark, we watched the movie, and
Yes.
what did you think of the movie? First things first, what you thought of the movie?
I was thoroughly surprised because when I heard about the movie and I got the synopsis of the movie, I was like, this gonna be another set of woke bullshit where a woman that ain't 100 pounds is gonna beat an advanced alien. I was like, this is gonna be some bullshit. Let me just say here, I was wrong. I am not too big of a man to say that I was wrong. I was pleasantly surprised. The movie was times better than I thought it would have been. I ain't saying it's the best Predator, because that was still reserved for the first. That's still reserved for the original. But this was a decent watch. You mentioned the length. Like right in my wheelhouse. When I saw the time, I was like, oh yes, somebody catering to me finally. Time perfect. One other thing I liked was, although it was a jungle, they did a very good job of making it seem very claustrophobic at times. Like the suspense, although it's a big expansive jungle and the plains and the scenery is nice. The white shots are gorgeous. The plains are gorgeous. The forest, everything greens. The greens are greens. The blues are blues. Perfect. You know what I mean? But when it came time for the human to human interaction or the human to predator interaction, it seemed almost claustrophobic. They were able to just tighten in and hone in on what is going on there, and you almost forgot like they're in a jungle because it felt so close knit and so close quarters. Love the acting. The acting was on par for what you expect from a predator. I liked how the predator acting throughout this entire movie is a more feral, down to earth. Well, and it's a down to earth way when it comes to the Predator. He didn't really rely on his gadgets. I I love that. Everything was hand to hand until shit got a little too hairy, and then well, all right, I got gadgets here. Let me use them. I loved how they revealed the form of the predator with the bear, him holding the bear above him and it's bleeding out. Like that's what you expect from a predator. The gore was there. That's I think that's what was kind of missing from, which sounds funny to say about a predator movie, but like it's almost like they tried to dumb it. Like the last one, oh my god, but there was so much comedy in it. It almost took away from the gore that you got. But this one, the man was like, no, we done with that. Any comedy was perfect for the scene, and I loved it. I love that they were actually using native
Yeah, the people, people
the
of
Native
Detroit,
American people of the tribe to bring out they weren't
the indigenous.
whitewashed.
Yeah, yeah,
The
yeah, yeah.
indigenous people. I
Mm.
loved it. I loved that they showed that Naru, who's the protagonist, made mistakes. I love that there were times where she miscalculated and it was almost her ass. Like this movie could have been at least an hour long. Like she fucked around and
It's true.
yeah,
It's
like
true.
that whole bear scene, she went to kill the bear and really she miscalculated and made some errors. And if not for the Predator, this would have been a short ass movie.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
But I love that. To me, I think this is my favorite Predator because this man just believed in using his hands or his foot. When he was invisible, but when he punched that, I assumed he kicked the bear in the head. I truly assumed that he kicked the bear in the head. When the bear get up and walk away and come back and charge, my man say step and punty. I was like, but this is my money here. Well, the man punt the bear and was like, no, I'm the bigger mobby. And I'm like, all right, cool. This is what we're talking about. Bring the gore. Bring the gore. When the man was destroying the French trappers,
Oh my goodness.
the man went to tone with them.
The Maha
Like,
used everything in his arsenal:
look,
hand, foot, weapons.
everything. Like, I just think like
And
this
the
is
Ma
my
was
favorite.
stylish with it too, you know.
Look,
Ma was
like
stylish with it too, boy.
I feel like the man just man look at Mortal Kombat, like look at Mortal Kombat and say, let's let's go with this. Like
Yeah, let me
we
try
like
this
this
for
stuff.
my
Let
beer.
me try this. Oh my beer. Let's
For
try
my
this.
beer. Let me see what we
And
do.
it was like it like you can say the gore, the action was well shot. The licks when they connect were it's you could hear it, you felt it, it was there.
Mm-hmm.
So on that, I enjoyed the movie. There are some things in it that I did have a little problem with, not a lot, but as much as I praise Naru at the start, to me her character was a little too one-dimensional. Like throughout the movie, she is like just on this constant plane. She doesn't dip, she doesn't go up. Like she starts out being a great tracker, ends up being a great tracker. Like there was no, they didn't explain why she wanted to be a tracker. Like she just wake up and said, I really feel like going to dig up for yams and potatoes, so let me go help with the man. Like,
To textiles and clothing.
she about home make nor Texas or clothing. And I have no problem with that. But to me, there was no logic behind why she wanted to be a hunter other than the fact that women don't hunt. Like they didn't even have a rule, if I remember correctly. There's no rule of the tribe saying that women can't hunt. So why does she want to be a hunter, like, or why she want to be a tracker? Like it, like that to me was like she was a little too one-dimensional for me. Like, she started as a good tracker, she ended as a good tracker. So she didn't have any growth. Yes, she had some mishaps and stuff, and I appreciate that. Like she wasn't Rey Skywalker. I mean Rey from Star Wars, where she just wake up and she's good at everything. They actually show you a scene with her practicing to throw the axe and stuff like that. And like I said, she made some mistakes and miscalculations and nearly died. But overall, her her character didn't have any growth in the movie. To me, there was some like the another great was the French people look more like indigenous people than the indigenous people. Like the indigenous people were like, if you see the indigenous
Okay.
people, they were always clean. Like they
I
could
get, I
go,
get, I get what you're saying. I get what you're
they
saying.
could walk, they could walk on, they could go from a hunt straight and walk for a model for Abercrombie and Finch.
Oh dear.
Like the men were always clean, well shaven, and everything, pristine, slim, whatever, model-esque if you want.
Mhm.
Whereas the French people, who I guess if you look at the time would have been more civilized, were like dung and dirty and grungy and grunting. So like to me, like that didn't make sense. And we talked about when they were fighting the predator. The place where they were fighting, was there like a nuclear war all of a sudden that I missed? Because we got from a lush plain, lush grassy knolls and stuff like that, and then all of a sudden when the man fighting is a barren, ashy, deforested. Like the men believe the men come and slash and burn. The men had the slash and burn technique. Like that just didn't make sense. Just all of a sudden, we in the same jungle we've been in from the beginning of this movie. All of a sudden, no, because we fighting the French trappers and all of that. The whole scene get gray and dirty, and it looked like we fighting in no man's land. It just didn't make no sense to me. Like I was like those things were just odd. You see that line where she brother talk about,
if it bleeds, we can kill it.
no, I'm all for being meta, and that's cool. But that was waste. That was a waste of time. I cringe. Like that was the only part of the movie that made me cringe. It's like, come on, man. Like I know you want to connect to the other movies, but
If it bleeds, we can kill it.
come on, man. And lastly, that gun. Giving that gun to Naru. While again, yes, tying it into Predator 2 made absolutely no sense. Because the Predator had the gun and he had a Predator too. So giving it to Naru means what? The man come down and say, well, you kill me, boy, so we can just put this entire village. Like I don't know if they thought through that. I don't think they thought through that part of just having the gun there. Because I was like, but we all know the gun is and back up with the Predator. So this mathing.
But you never know. They might be doing a sequel to it, and it might morph very quickly.
Fair
But
enough.
I guess we will see. I mean,
But fair enough. But I'm saying at this point, this mathing. But overall, that was me. I had a good time. It's an hour and 40 minutes. Yeah, that made math right.
yeah. That
Yeah,
morph,
40?
that morph,
Mathing.
that morph, morphing.
I would sit
Yeah.
down and watch it again. I
Yeah.
would sit down and
Mhm.
watch it again. That's my overall feeling of the movie.
For me, I thought the movie was very good. Like you, I thought the movie was going to be something I was pleasantly surprised, but not for the same reasons, right? I knew there was a female protagonist and I was cool with it. I knew it was going to be, back in time, a period piece kind of thing. And it was going to have people, indigenous and whatever, right? I knew they were going to do that. I think two things surprised me. What surprised me was they thought it was going to be a horror. I thought they were going to play this like a more, like jump scares and that sort of nonsense, right? But they played this like a sci-fi, and I'm glad they did that. And I also thought it was going to be cheesy. I thought it was going to be like, you know what I mean? Like
the last one.
These special effects. But to be honest, I there are a lot of them. I stopped watching Predator after a little while. Like I watched Aliens versus Predator, I think it was, and it started to get weird. And I watched some of one, and I was just done with that. But by and large, I was surprised that this was polished.
Yeah,
you know what I mean? Like it had a big feel, that big cinema feel, big screen feel, right? So I was pleasantly surprised about those two things. Another thing that was very good to me was that they did use indigenous people, and they acted really well. You know what I mean? Like they did what they did. To your gripe about the Indians, the Native Americans being clean, when I first saw the brother, I was like, this man look like he no guilty makeup cheer, brush and all, right? And I was but again, it was a Predator movie for me, so I just whatever. Let me just get into it, right? I don't agree with you with what you were saying about Naru and her growth. I think that this is a Predator movie. We don't need her to go from weakling to superhero. I was grateful for that. I think that even though her art was not a big arc. She went from a good tracker and an okay hunter or a solid hunter, but then she elevated her ingenuity and her senses and stuff like that. So yeah, she was a tracker and a hunter at the beginning, but to me at the end, like especially how she took down the predator, it was you could tell that you could see she honed her skills and she used her instincts and stuff like that. She did trial and error, as you said. You know, she with the axe and other things. She did trial and error, like when she was trying to get out the little swamp thing or whatever. So I mean, I like that fact too that she almost died a couple of times trying some stuff. Right, she almost lost. She asked the tiger or you know,
the mountain lion
to the mountain lion and almost in the swamp and stuff like that. But I think she was more unsure of herself or kind of green, like, I want to be a hunter. But I understand what you're saying about the motives for her wanting to be a hunter and a tracker. I don't care. It's a Predator movie, 100 minutes. I just try to get on with it, right? I just want to see Predator do Predator things, right?
Agreed, but all right, for me, if let's say the reason she wanted to be a hunter was because she went digging up yams and I like went too far away from the tribe.
And she lost like a loved one or something.
Right, and like her father had to come and save her from a mountain lion or whatever. And she had felt helpless because her father's not there throughout the whole picture. So you didn't have to start the movie with that, but you could have made mention to it. So you could tell yourself, okay, I understand the motivation of why she wants to be a hunter. That's how I'm saying. Like, say you had to give me some big exposition dump, just so you know what. When she woke, I think she woke up in the tent. And she was talking to her mother. She was like, "Why?" He goes like, "Why you want to be a hunter so bad?" She was like, "But you know how I feel when the tiger or something approached, and I felt helpless, and Dad gave up his."
But I mean, she did say though that the reason why she wanted to do it is because y'all think I can't do it. So this is what he's saying, right? I'll be honest, right? Let me be brutally honest with you. I did not expect this movie to have as much heart as it did. That's the truth. And like
you thought it was gonna be another set of woke bullshit. I get you.
Actually, no, I didn't think it was. I didn't think it was gonna be a set of woke BS. I thought it was just gonna be as Indians. Here comes the predator. We don't know how to kill this predator, but all of a sudden, I am super great and I could kill the predator. I didn't care if it was a man or woman, but to me, I just
takes what we have. That's nice.
Yeah, but I thought it was going to be cheesy. I thought it was going to be lame. I didn't expect any lot of exposition. I didn't expect nothing. So we in the jungle, we living and surviving, doing day-to-day thing. Along comes a predator. We figure out he kills some people. I killed he or a group of we killed them, and that's it. But I was grateful for the fact that they did try to give her a semblance of an arc. It's 100 minutes. Let me be honest now. It's 100 minutes. And it looked like it was struggling in that 100 minutes at all just to fill it out. So I was grateful that they didn't bog it down with a lot of exposition ups. So I was appreciative of that. I was to the work thing that you're talking about. I guess I could be appreciative of that too. To me, this is how I like my movies, with subtle implementations of things. You know what I mean? Because
there was more, as you like to say, there was more showing than telling.
Exactly. This is literally a Predator movie. Yes, they put a woman into the protagonist role, and the way they did it, it did not seem as it was forced or ham-handed or anything like that, right? Because
they told a good story with it. That's
exactly. And to me, I have no problem with that. I literally don't have a problem with any like women, minorities, homosexual people, anybody from the LGBTQ. I have no problem with those people being protagonists or even focusing on those people. But if it lends to the story and it makes a compelling arc of a film, I have no problem with it.
Another thing that I was surprised about is that, again, obviously she had her mishaps leading up to the fight with the Predator. But the Predator gives you some good. I mean,
oh yeah, the Predator gives you that work, boy.
Predator ain't treat she like Arnold or Danny Glover, but for what it was, she got a little touch up, and I was like, okay, I'm impressed.
Yeah. I think they did a very good job with the character. I think they did a very good job for her arc. I think they did a very good job. I even think that they even had that, as you call it, woke BS. I even think they had a sprinkle of that, but it was so well done. Because as you know, that is a male-dominated society back then. So the man was, the man tried, like, when the man said, your brother said, get back to camp. Yeah. It's like, nah, I get the camp. It's like, why you ain't get back to camp? Because I'm bigger than a bear hunting. It's the man, I tell you, get back to camp. And the man tried to, like, beat she up.
Yeah.
And she deal with the man. And that didn't feel like, oh, here's a 100-pound woman dealing because
Yeah,
everybody was around the same size and same height.
yeah,
Yeah,
exactly.
the men.
And she got it. She got as good as she gave.
Yes,
That like,
yes.
and I say this all the time, as you said, and I don't want like sidetrack and turn this into a whole war rant, whatever.
Mm.
We don't have a problem with anybody being the protagonist, but make it make sense within the laws of the rules of the world you're building. That's all we want.
Yeah, like
so
if she had beat the Predator, right? If she had beat the Predator and ain't had a scratch, you know what I mean? And it was like this uber, like a matter of fact, I'll be honest with you. Even if a man was to fight the Predator and he come out unscathed, and he was like, I'd be like,
no, that don't make sense.
I mean, like, like the Predator has always been a very fearsome foe.
Especially after he like, you can see he took licks, he took damage. Let me say that he took damage when he was fighting the men, and boy, that was like I will watch that scene. I watched that scene.
Maybe at the any force.
Yeah, when he made like when he was fighting that man, like
that was so tight. That was so sick.
Like when the man took the trap off before I hit the man with the trap, I was like, what is my money here? My money burned. Yeah, but just make it make sense within the laws or the rules that you've created. All right, fine. She's 100 pounds soaking wet. Okay.
It has to be grounded. It's already a movie. It's already a movie about alien coming down from space to hunt people. To me, that was a relatable thing. Everything Naru did was something that anybody in those situations would do. Right?
While the Predator was studying them,
right.
she was observing him and figuring out, okay, but this makes sense and this is what he does do. Right. So how do I combat that? And then
she used her environment well, and
had the MacGuffin that turned the blood cold, and she figured out. I was like, okay, like, you had the MacGuffin. Something had to come up for you to hide you.
I wasn't even too bad with that.
At first, I'm not. But at first, I thought they were going to rehash the mud thing. I honestly thought they were going to rehash the mud thing.
Yeah, that'd be cheesy. Obviously that would have been cheese.
Right, like I thought they were going to rehash the mud thing because obviously is back in the day, they in big law technology. So I figured that this was going to be another callback. But when you come and say, okay, fine, there's this MacGuffin, this flower, this herb that turns it cold and you become invisible to the Predator. Even that to me was well done.
I like that scene when the man was cold and the man was playing there. And the man stand up with the foot. I was like, the man said, no, hush. Less noise. That was hilarious to me. I'll tell you, Martin, he gave me. I see you, my man get me, yeah? My man stand up with the foot, so like, the man said, no, hush.
I think the man didn't even hesitate. Like, the man just like, not dead.
Man flinch. Man here, Okay. No, the cinematography was amazing. Now, to talk about the cinematography, I agree with everything you said. I think for wide open spaces, they did a very good job with the shots, making it real tight and close to feel that claustrophobia, right? When, like, for example, the Predator invisible, and you see the men in the forest, or anybody, for that matter, it's close-ups. So now you don't know where he is. Yes, if you did a wide shot, it's a wide open space. But the claustrophobia of the close-ups made you feel like, this man could get me anywhere, right?
Yeah.
And then the lighting was really good in the dark scenes. It was really good in terms of the use of light and stuff. Or, I guess you call it the use of light because darkness is really the shaping of light or whatever. But yeah, they did a very good job of doing all of that and making you feel as though, even though, as you said, it's the wide open plains. They ain't like the fighting in the cave or the fighting in a 5x5 arena. They're literally fighting in the woods. But they made it, but it all, as a matter of fact, one would almost feel like this was very small, the way they shot it, right?
Yeah.
But, and then with certain things that would have happened during the movie and stuff, the locations and stuff like that, it made you feel like everything was very close.
I think the one shot, the one scene or the sequence of scenes that really brings that to light is the bear scene. Like when she runs from the bear and goes in the dam. Like you know they're on a river. You know there is a big expansive scene. But the way that bear was hitting at that dam, and you seeing it from her perspective. You just seeing this bear,
because they went close up to her, then they would go close up on the bear. Like it was, the shots were very well planned. The director did a very good job of making you feel that claustrophobia, as you said, right? Because when you have something hunting you, whether it's a horror, whether it's a sci-fi, whatever, close-ups is the best way to think.
Right.
You could be, instead of like, you could be in a pasture, close-ups, right? So that was very well done. I did like the locations. I did like the sound. The sound was good. I mean, let me be clear. The music was good, right? The score was good.
Score.
It was decent, right? It wasn't nothing mind-blowing. The sound, as you were saying, the sound, right? Like the effects of the walking and the punching and all of the various effects.
When I'm on walk, boy, when the predator land, like you felt it.
You felt it.
You know what? It reminded me of the Batman.
Mm.
Like when Batman was walking and he land, you like, oh shit.
Yeah,
Like, it's like, oh shit. There's something in these words.
Right. So to me, everything, I think this was a very, very good Predator movie, especially considering, shoot, I would even say like, because even like Predator 2, for me, even though Predator 2 is among the best, if not the best Predator movie, right? It was really good.
Yeah, one and two is 1 and 2.
Right?
Like that's always
1 and 2.
1 and 2 is 1 and 2.
Right. But it still felt like there was still some cheese. Right. And I granted those were in the 80s and 90s.
80s,
right?
80s,
but
80s.
even the more recent movies were cheese. But this felt like the polish. I think for me it was the polish, and nothing was, as you said, the jokes. I don't even remember them being jokes in this movie, to be honest. I don't remember. I mean, yeah, there
was comedic, like when the man shot the mask and the bullet box back and kill him.
As much as that was funny, it wasn't lame. It wasn't cheesy. It wasn't done for a gag, right? It was like, this man will really shoot the Predator. What got here, right? I was thinking, I thought he was going to...
Predator walking up like, do it if you're bad.
I thought Predator was going to cut off his hand. I thought he was going to dodge the bullet. But when the thing shooting and went ricochet off here, it was like, you get a chuckle, but it never felt like, aha, it's like split. It was like, huh, ain't that some shit? But it was all business, right? It didn't linger on it and anything like that. So to me, I think this movie did a very good job of portraying the Predator. I think it did a very good job of portraying how he goes about doing what he does. You know, the man not only was killing people, right? Because, you know, predators land and look for the apex predator or whatever. But the man, when the man land, the man see a snake, the man say, this will make a good belt. And the man skin the snake live in front of everybody. And I was like, okay, so that's what he did. It was a wolf or something.
Yeah, it was a wolf chasing a rabbit. Again, the man punch the wolf. The wolf bring a bite. The wolf bring a bite and the man like,
and I was like, oh my goodness gracious. And the poor, you know what? I felt for the wolf because the man was invisible. And I was like, and the man limping like, what just hit me? I said,
you know what?
Jesus. Right? And the man was struggling. But and you know what I like too? I like how they showed how he does like do the skulls. Right? I like the movie, man. I think the movie was really, really good. I would watch it again. I actually would watch that again. I think it did a very good job of tying in the movies that came before, and that it tied in the lore and everything like that. I can see them, if they made a sequel to this, I wouldn't be upset. You know what I mean? If it had the same polish and the story was good enough, I wouldn't be sorry. I wouldn't be upset. The only note I got for this movie, right? Only thing that took me out is just how convenient the end play out. When he was in the swamp and he crawled through the swamp and he get up and he just happened to be in line with the helmet that she put right there.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Because she made it seem very haphazard how she went about that whole scene. Yeah. And then he just happened to line up right in the line of fire of his helmet. I was like, all right, I guess you need something. It can't be flawless, right? But it was still a very good movie.
Yeah, like the ingenuity of like I said, the studying, like when she realized like where his mask looks is where these things go, and she was like, okay.
Yeah. Okay, right. So it's hit the dots. Got you covered.
Fine. All right, got you covered. And then using something that almost took her life to trap the man. And yeah, like I love the ingenuity of how she fought and stuff like that. Yeah. And I got big at the dog.
Yeah, the dog is tight. I thought the dog was
I thought the dog was getting when the beer line. I thought
the dog was gonna get the beer line. I thought the dog was getting it because you know they had a scene at the end where the man was running with the like when they were in the French village or what the little French thing, and the like they were attacking the brother and the sister Naru. Were attacking, and the dog come out right, and he give the dog a punch and thing. I said, this dog ain't make it here. This dog ain't gonna make it. You could already see he has no love for dogs. This dog ain't gonna make it. But it was good to see that the dog made it. When she killed the predator, even though it little cheesy for well, yeah, it was a little weird. I still like the fact that she returned triumphant and the man blood with the head. Like that's so badass to me, right? So I think this was a very good movie. I would recommend this movie. I would tell anybody to watch it, even if you're not into Predator, you're not into that world or that lore. I still think as a standalone movie, this is awesome. You know what I mean?
Give it a watch. It is a good watch.
It's a very good watch. So, Mark, what would you give Prey out of skulls? 5 skulls.
Out of 5 skulls, I somewhere between.
You're gonna be a Bulgarian.
It's somewhere between 3.5 and 4.
Okay.
I wasn't gonna give it a 2. No. My pros for the movie way outweigh the cons. Like I said, it's minor. Those minor little things in watching it is what bothered me. But overall, I had a good time watching the movie. So I cannot give it anything less than 3.5. Are the things that bother me enough to take off 1.5? I'm not sure. That's what I'm saying. I come in anywhere between 3.5 to 4. If I got it,
don't commit to a number.
3.5.
You know.
I am in a 3.5. I am at 3.5. That's I leaving myself some wiggle room so that I might revisit it and say, you know what?
See?
I was wrong. I gave a 4.
That's that dipsy doodling, see? That's that dipsy doodle. For me, I give it a 4. I think for me, everything is good, it's well presented, it's a good story. The protagonist was strong, the supporting characters were strong, the enemies and the Predator himself were both like antagonists. Because there were several different antagonists as the movie went on. I think all of them fulfilled their part and their role in that moment, in those moments, right? I think my notes for me is one, it was too short, 100 minutes. I know, Mar, I know you don't like anything longer than 2 hours, but for me, I felt the length of it, right? Like it felt short. This one felt shorter than the 100 minutes. As a matter of fact, when I was doing research for this, and I look up and say it was 100 minutes, I was like, cheese on bread. It was that short. It felt shorter, you know what I mean? So that, and just the little, convenience at the end, and the MacGuffin with the flowers, all sorts of things. But anyhow, we recommend it. I would give it 4. Watch this movie. It will give you the good feels. It is streaming on all various platforms, Hulu, etc., etc., etc. You can go in the cinema and watch it. And that is the review for Prey.
As always, thank you for watching. Like, comment, hit the subscribe button, share, notification bell, all those good things so you won't miss another episode. I mean, again, we've been out for a while. Like Neil said at the beginning, life happens, but we back. We got some ideas that we excited to put to screen, and hope you guys enjoy the journey. Until the next one.
Peace and love.